Hello everyone and welcome to Letterbox Book Club. I am Mackenzie.
And I'm Claire.
And also a little disclaimer, I have COVID.
Fun for you.
My voice sounds a little bit funny, but it's okay. Let's get into the blurb. So this is You've Reached Sam by Dustin. I'm going to say Thao, but that's probably wrong.
Could it be Thao?
I think Thao, but I don't want to. A heartfelt novel about love and loss and what it means to say goodbye. 17-year-old Julie Clark has her future all planned out. Move out of her small town with her boyfriend Sam, attend college in the city, spend a summer in Japan. But then Sam dies, and everything changes. Heartbroken, Julie skips his funeral, throws out his belongings, and tries everything to forget him. But a message Sam left behind in her yearbook forces memories to return. Desperate to hear him one more time, Julie calls Sam's cell phone just to listen to his voicemail recording, and Sam picks up the phone. The connection is temporary, but hearing Sam's voice makes Julie fall for him all over again, and with each call, it becomes harder to let him go. What would you do if you had a second chance at goodbye?
Oof. This is a rough one.
Yes.
I just love, in the blurb, it's like the whimsical, plans of life. Then it's like, then this person died. What an inconvenience. How dare they? It's just such a funny thing that happens.
As always, I don't read blurbs, but from the cover, I knew that it was going to hurt. And it hurt. Yeah. It hurt a lot. And we were just talking about, the most recent books that we've read involves people dying, and lots of trauma, and I need a break, Claire, because this book broke me.
Good thing it's Oh, no, Assassin's Blade is not a good cover. Oh, no. It'll never end, Kenzie. The train is always going to be the trauma deaths. We will never escape it. I'm trying to think what would be a happy book or relatively happy book in our repertoire coming up. It's not looking too good. But yeah, thoughts, feelings, emotions, Kenzie.
Once again, we need to take a shot every time I say this, but this book broke me. From the outset and throughout, I was a mess. I cried in the first few chapters, and then at the end of it, I sat in my bed for an hour and a half, uncontrollably sobbing. And I couldn't stop.
It's fair, it's very fair.
I think it's a good book. It's PG-13, and it does explore a lot of themes of grief and loss and letting go. But even as an adult who has experienced loss, I think that it was very hard to read in that, what would you do if you called the phone and they answered or whatever, It's hard to be this, not that it's a possibility, but be here's a book all about this, but yeah. What about you?
In contrast, I felt emotionally dead. I wanted to cry. Heavy topics. There were moments where I forgot that they were teenagers because I think they were around alcohol and stuff, and I'm like, how are you drinking alcohol right now? So that little illusion kind of broke me a little bit. It was an emotional journey, about the grief and loss and how do you react, and I mean there's no real right way to grieve and all that type of stuff, so, and it's easy to judge Julie on the outside of this book for her actions or what she did and didn't do, but at the end of the day, I have
some points about that.
At the end of the day, you never know. But yeah, emotional.
Nice.
Loved it.
One word, emotional. Cool.
I must say, just the flickering between memories, even in the prologue, I was like, this is moving too fast. It took me a moment to remember, what type of book I was reading. So I was like, the pacing's off. It was very jarring, but then I understood. So, alrighty, let's kick on into it, Kenzie. What is it that you want to talk about?
Lots of things. I have some notes, as always. I've got a burp or something. Hang on first, because something in my chest really hurts.
Is it just not the COVID chest pains?
I haven't got any of them yet. And I'm out on Thursday, so I don't think I'm going to get hit too hard tomorrow.
Here's hoping for a good recovery.
Oh, I have asthma, so I'm scared.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah.
So, when this book picks up and, it talks about, Julie missing Sam's funeral and throwing out all of his things and then, missing the memorial and stuff, I was like, I understand, and it's always such a big theme in life in general that people grieve differently and stuff, and, I was like, I kind of get it, but at the same time, I always go by a funeral is for the living, it's not for the dead. It's you need to go and be there for his family. And I was like, oh, it's probably thinking, it's been a few months. But I found out the book picks up a week after he dies.
Yeah. It's not a good look.
So I was like, okay, I get it. So yeah, it picks up a week after he dies, and like I don't know the general like timeline on like funerals and stuff, but every funeral I've been to has been like either like like exactly a week after, or like a
Maybe
week and a bit
more.
a week and a bit after. So like when she's saying that when the book is explaining that Julie skips a funeral, I imagine that, it's been like a few weeks or like a couple of months at this point or something. But no, like, so I'm assuming, that she hasn't taken any time off school. She is, grieving the love of her life.
I feel like she did take some time off because it was the first time she's gone back in a while.
Well, in a week.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, so she hasn't taken significant time away. And then I feel like there's just like this overbearing and overarching like theme from her friends being like, he's dead, that's it, get over it. Like,
I think they kind of forget themselves that they're teenagers and they've probably never felt such a loss before,
which I can relate to. Shout out.
Same.
Yeah.
And I think with Sam's culture being Japanese, like they have like other sort of ceremonies and stuff as well. So a lot of vigils and other of ceremonies.
Yeah, like very cultural things. Like you have to be like when you die, you have to be buried and stuff within 24 hours and stuff. So
yeah, or even like there's a week of mourning type of thing where they're still in their house and all that type of stuff. But so what were your initial thoughts of Julie? Were you like, oh, she's an arsehole because she didn't just suck it up and go to the funeral? Or were you like, well, that's fair enough because she's a teenager losing someone she loved very, very much so suddenly?
I didn't think, oh, she's an arsehole sort of vibes. I thought that, because again, assuming it had been some time, I just thought like, oh, it's kind of like, I understand grief, but that's kind of a shitty thing to do. And then when, like, her friends or whatever, they were organising their own memorial, and then she skipped that as well. I was like, that's an even shittier thing to do, because, like, this is actually your friends rallying behind you.
Yeah, it just seemed like, Julie really did kind of push everything away almost like too selfishly, but it's like they all lost a friend too. Mika lost a cousin, family member. Oliver lost his best friend. Like, there was a lot of moments in this book where Julie gets a little kick in the ass where it's like, oh, this just doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Like, she's not the only one that suffered. And it was quite irritating to read because it's like, you just gotta
yeah.
reach out to the...
And I think as well, like, it's difficult to read because, I mean, personally, I did sort of enjoy Julie's portrayal because, like, grief is messy, like, and it's cruel and it's painful, and you kind of, like, go into this manic state of, like, self-preservation. Yeah, and I know that you and I are both very pragmatic people, but I've also been the person who, like, finds out about death and, like, falls down the wall sobbing and, like, can't move. So, like, I understand, but then I've also been on the other side where, like, I see the other people falling apart and I'm like, no, it's time to get up, like, get into action. You need to, like, move, like, not move on, but, like, you need to, like, plan what's ahead now.
Keep moving forward, I guess.
Yeah, it's
because you can still move forward while still, like, holding on to all your emotions.
Yeah, you can't let yourself give into the grief and just become a ball of nothing.
Yeah.
I call it, and I don't know if he listens, but shout out to Brody for, like, calling me, telling me this, but, like, shark brain, because if sharks stop swimming, they drown.
Yeah.
So, like, you just gotta keep busy, which, like, is totally unhealthy. Like, always find the time to, like, grieve in your own time, in your own space, and, like, do the things you need to do, but, like, don't drag everyone down with you.
Yeah, don't let it consume you. I very much agree with that. Gonna get a little personal here, but yeah, when my mum died, I thought, what the hell am I gonna do? And then I started looking for, like, options and courses because uni in and out and not really enjoying it, and you just had to keep pushing through.
Yeah, and that was okay. We're going to, let's name drop who's dead. Like when same, like with uni and stuff, when my dad died, that's who I'm talking about, everyone. That's when I fell down the wall sobbing. Like, I had plans to go to, like, a different university and stuff, and then it just didn't work out for reasons, and then, so I had to, like, reroute, like, okay, well, then I need to, like, apply to this, and I need to get into this course, and, like, at this uni, and do this, and then I ended up dropping out anyway. But you do, like, have that sense of, okay, like, I am sad, I am upset, life doesn't make sense, but I need to do what's best for me to still, like...
Yeah.
to like take control of my life.
Yeah, with me, I gave myself like, again, this worked for me because of who I am, but I gave myself like a month to kind of just like chill and not focus on anything else, just kind of have a slow think about what I wanted to do. And then, yeah, after that, just get into the nitty gritty work of like figuring out my life and what I want to do in the meantime and keep busy. And like looking back now, sometimes I think like, how the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, god damn, was so busy. Conversely, yeah, family members, they reacted differently. Like they seemed to kind of do the same as well, like just move forward with their lives without wallowing or anything like that. So yeah, I never gave myself a chance to wallow because I knew I'd probably get stuck. Oh well.
That's very self-aware of you. Well done.
Yeah.
So in this book as well, like, and I always have, I don't know what I have worse problems with, because this is like in They Both Die at the end as well. So Sam dies 6 months before graduating high school.
Yeah, that's a bit shit, isn't it?
And I'm always so upset in life, like in real life as well, and just in books when they kill off bloody teenage now. Because when I was a teenager, I was like, wow, this is so sad. But now I'm like, no, this is bullshit. And then especially being a mother, I'm like, you haven't lived. You haven't had a chance to life.
Haven't had a chance to life. Love it.
Yeah,
I agree with that. There's so much potential in young people, and it's just... sad to see him get ripped away, especially in today's sort of like political climate as well, and especially issues with America of young kids and teenagers dying needlessly. So yeah, it's even harder to read it in books. And again, teenagers don't need that type of trauma, especially Julie. I don't blame her. Teenagers shouldn't die in books unless it's like dystopian or fantasy. There's the exception.
I have stuff. Hang on, I'm just pushing my cuticle down.
That's okay.
Don't you reckon this looks like a little Coke spoon? Like a little...
Pardon my ignorance, but yeah, I did not know what you meant by that.
Leave that in. I hope my mum listens to this. Like to move on to Julie actually like calling Sam's phone, and he picks up, and like at first I was like, wow, this is really cool, like I love this concept, and then I was fucking mad
because it never really resolved.
Yeah, and also because like I don't know how like I would feel if that was an option in life, like if someone died and then they're like, you know what, you get to call them and you get to chat to them for, I'm gonna say it was 2 weeks of them chatting.
Actually, it was a long time. It was like months, I think.
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, yeah, because she graduated, didn't she? Okay, so that's bullshit. Because that's the thing, like, there's this, like, what would you do if you had the chance, like, the second chance to say goodbye or whatever? And, like, I understand that when someone dies unexpectedly, like, you do feel that, like, oh, I never got a chance to say goodbye, and you have those regrets, and I definitely have those regrets about losing people in my life. I have a very big one that I will tell you, Claire, at another time. But anyway, and, like, I understand, like, they die suddenly, but then, yeah, you get to a point where you're like, you know what, it's shit, but it is what it is. And then to have that opportunity to then go into like having the chance to say a proper goodbye, like I don't think I'd be able to do it. Like, what do you say? Like I have dreams about my dad often, and they're quite lovely now, but I had one very like soon after he had passed away, and he had just like come in the front door and he's like, hey everyone, like I'm back. And I was pissed, like in my dream, I was like, fuck you, like how dare you, like you've thrown our lives upside down and you just fucking come back in here like waltzing in, like sorry, like I'm back now. Like I feel like I would feel like that, like yeah, you've been so upset, and then like, oh, it's okay, you can talk to me.
It's almost even better if you never had that opportunity, because then you get over it, and then I wouldn't even know what to do, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think it's like that concept and that theme of like connection is temporary, like life is temporary, love is temporary, like
yeah,
I don't know, it really plays on, is it morbidity or whatever of life, the morality of life, I don't know.
Morality, yeah, I'd say morality.
And like that's a lot for kids to be thinking about.
Yeah, especially a teenager.
Yeah, teenage, like 13 plus.
Yeah, I think Julie is 17, but yeah.
Yeah, but like the book is recommended for 13 plus.
Oh, okay. All right.
I looked it up.
Okay.
I'm scared for the babies.
You really are. You're a true advocate for them, and we salute you. I don't even know what to say to that, to be honest.
Sorry.
I feel lame not being able to bounce ideas off you, but like, goddamn.
Sometimes my brain comes out.
It's okay. Let it
Sometimes
shine.
that Catholic school really shines through.
out of spite.
I'm just looking through my notes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know if I'd be upset. I don't know if I'd be awkward. Probably pull a Julie. Like, I'd feel like I'm going crazy.
Yeah. And then, yeah, especially in this book as well, I didn't know if the concept of her talking to him was meant to be like it's in her head thing or like it's a real thing. Like, I didn't know. And then, especially because when she's talking to him, like, her phone doesn't work. She doesn't get calls and stuff from other people, so they think she's just ignoring them. And so that's when I thought that it was trying to symbolize that it's in her head because she's in this little world with Sam and therefore she is ignoring everyone else.
It's mental illness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, and with her mother, like, being paranoid about the dude across the street and all that type of stuff and the government or whatever, like, I feel like it could be, like, a touch of mental illness there, but it's just a fiction concept, I guess.
And then also again we've touched on this, but you lose someone abruptly, you grieve them, you become at peace with it, and then suddenly they're like, you know what, you're actually going to have to say goodbye again.
I mean, technically for Julie, it was never again goodbye. It was like a
I know, but
goodbye.
like
yeah. Before we touched on that quickly, when they were chatting through their phone calls, like, I don't know, I just got annoyed with the vaguity. I don't know if vaguity is a word, but the vagueness of Sam's explanation of what's going on with him on the other end. Because it's like, he can't really confirm or deny, like, a heaven or a hell or an afterlife.
Yeah. I know, and I understand that you don't want to go, as an author, sorry, you go.
I just thought, I just thought there's no way he'd want to alienate anybody, any sort of religious beliefs. I just answered my own question.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was saying, as an author, like, you probably don't want to go into that whole heaven and hell sort of thing. But I was thinking as well, because it is very vague, but it also seems quite ominous, like, oh, I can't tell you, otherwise I have to go away and stuff. I'm thinking, why can't it just be him saying something along the lines of, I'm not at my final destination, I'm in the waiting room, sort of.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, with the whole, like, him going away, like, if he, I don't know, if Julie shares this knowledge with anybody else, like, then it just means, is there another force at play that's, like, overseeing all of these types of interactions? And it's, like, it's just, the vagueness of it is irritated me a bit. Because I again, reading fantasy books and stuff, like, I'm someone who wants a logical explanation, or at least a fictional logical explanation.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as we just touched on, of course, the author doesn't want to bring any sort of religious views or afterlife views into this, which is hats off to him. Now I understand, and it doesn't bother me as much anymore, but a little bit.
It doesn't bother me. It just bothers, like, that concept doesn't bother me, but it bothers me how, it seemed like there was an ominous force at play.
Yeah. It took a while, it seemed, for the calls and connections to become weaker. I know it came significantly weaker when Mika talked to him on the phone. Yeah. But then they kept saying, like, oh, we only have a few calls left, but, like, there'd be calls for, like, long periods of time, and it's like, when is this, like...
Yeah, what are the rules?
Yeah, and that's the thing, not really properly knowing the rules is probably irritated me a little bit, but it all worked out in the end, I guess. Alrighty, what else do you want to talk about, Kenzie? What's on your list?
I wanted to talk about, I know, like, I'm so jumbly about this, but I'm trying my best. COVID fog, I wanted to talk about how Julie actually kind of, I think I've spoke about this a little tiny bit, Julie resonated with me in that she makes mistakes in her grief. And I think I definitely had extended period of time where I have made a lot of mistakes and I have a lot of regrets and I fucked up a lot of things in my life because of grief. But then also, and I don't expect people in real life or in fiction to cut you slack and just be like, okay, like, I'm fine with it. But I think there needs to be understanding, and especially in adolescent grief, the way that adolescents process big life changes and stuff, there needs to be more awareness of, like, hey, this person's brain is not functioning right now properly, you need to be there.
Yeah, and that's like a fine line, like, you want people to have their space and to grieve, but then it's like, well, at what point do I step in and, like, kind of make myself known to them that I'm here for them as well?
Yeah, and also if that person is clearly making mistakes in their life and, like, putting distance between themselves and others, you need to step in and be like, hey, like, is something going on? Like, do you need help? Or just even, like, you know, I'm here for you. Because that's usually the first sign of something is not right, is distancing yourself.
Yeah. But then, yeah, again, that's just a double-edged sword emotion of it. It's like, oh, but like we want to give them their space at the end of the day, and it's like, but
and
you
again,
don't trust...
like, you don't want to be dragged into their grief.
Yeah, and you can't really trust them to reach out because they'll just self-isolate. Yeah, it's a weird thing, and you don't want to overstep any boundaries or anything like that. Yeah, but yeah, especially in adolescent minds, like, yeah, fucks you up for life. I suppose in that situation as well, in relation to this book, we see a bit of that perhaps between Jules and Mika.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And then a lot of and that as well between like Jules and perhaps even Sam's family, because she never contacted them once either to check up on them.
I think again that's a hard, because as an adult you would.
Yeah.
But as a 17-year-old, do you almost feel like that's overstepping your mark? Being like, and then once that person is dead, what ties you to their family anymore apart from memories? Like,
you're just like the ex, your dead son's ex type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, and when Sam said that to Julie to check up on his family, I'm like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Like in the initial,
not her job.
Yeah, not her job first of all. But yeah, in the initial week, perhaps, if she didn't skip the funerals and
I know, again,
Jules,
and that's the thing, I can't get past that. It's only been a week.
Yeah. And, like, they've got all, like, college and plans to sort out as well. Like, so much. They've had a rough month.
Yeah. Take a gap year.
Yeah, so many things to decide upon. But yeah, between her and Julie and Mika for sure, like, because there were physical descriptions of Mika like looking sick and looking unwell, and it's like Mika, it's like Julie. I'm just fucking up their names. Sorry. I think the chapter before Sam was like, "Oh, I need you to look after Mika," and Julie is like, "Okay," and then like a few chapters go by, we get descriptions of Mika, looking unwell and not looking great, and it's like, Julie,
where you at, bitch?
Yeah, where you at? You gotta help this chick out. And it really frustrated me as well, because again, I understand this is all about Julie's grief processing, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like, she wasn't the only one to lose Sam, and like, she may have been okay with, you know, taking her own space, but other people probably would have liked more of a open connection in talking and all that type of stuff. Because even with like Julie and Oliver's kind of friendship and everything, like, Oliver's like, can I talk to you about Sam? And she's like, yeah, okay, but like not right now, when I'm ready. But it's like, yeah, Julie, he also lost a best friend.
No,
he has no one to talk to, and it's just such a frustration.
I keep coming back to it's only been a week. If it had been a few months, I get it, but it's a week. Like, I can't. It's hard. It's very difficult for me to try and comprehend.
Because like, if it's a week, like, you try your best to be there for everybody, and like you take your space, but like, you got to give everyone else a chance to express themselves.
Did you think, because I thought that Oliver was trying to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, please don't go down this path.
Yeah. And also, obviously, with Tristan as well. Like, I was like, oh no, this is going to be like a weird love triangle.
Oh no. But...
Would have been a square, but one of the edges is dead, so... That wasn't a vibe I was going for, but interesting turn of events though.
Very interesting.
In regards to Oliver. But yeah, alright, let's talk about like kind of like individual relationships. If you're all good so far, we can hold off on what you have to say for the moment.
No, that's all I had to say. I got 20 minutes of me rambling, so...
Good, and it all makes sense. So yeah, Julie and Oliver. I got real bully vibes from Oliver initially, just because of his friendship ties to Taylor and Liam. And like, also very weird, bullying situation happening, trying to guilt Julie into... being the cause of Sam's death.
Because again, it's only been a week.
Yeah.
But even then, like, you don't ever do that, but still.
Yeah, immature teenagers as well.
Again, that's another thing of teenagers and adolescents trying to make sense of a difficult situation, putting the blame for things on other people. Once again, shout out to all my friends. Hope they don't listen to this, because fuck y'all.
Oh, no. Wait, do they blame you?
What? No, just for, like, stuff that happened afterwards when I was in my grief pit.
Oh, okay, sorry. And yeah, I suppose with teenagers as well, like, they want a logical kind of explanation. Like, accidents just can't happen. Like, there has to be, this was the sequence of events, like Julie and Sam talking, and Julie being like, I can walk home, and therefore guilted Sam. But no, people are responsible for their own decisions.
Bitches ain't shit.
Julie and Oliver. Yeah, I thought it was like a slide into the DMs, into the grief DMs moment for Oliver. I'm like,
oh my god, let's trauma bond, and by that I mean bondage.
Yeah.
Let's fuck.
But it was good that they were able to establish a nice friendship in the end.
Yeah.
Throughout the book, we learned that Julie and Oliver were both jealous of each other towards their affection for Sam. Obviously, Julie being, the girlfriend of Sam, a bit of it's a hard balancing act between, like, a girlfriend, best friend. But then we also learn that Oliver loves Sam in a LGBT way, which is cool. We love that rep. And it's something that, like, Sam never knew about Oliver, and that's something that kind of it never explicitly said that he regrets it, but, like, he kind of probably wished that Sam knew.
Yeah.
Straight up. Then Julie had the comment, well, like, Sam probably already knew or something like that. But yeah, so they trauma bond together, and they go to hang out, they go to movies.
I think at the start it's like a trauma bond, but then it becomes just a genuine friendship.
Yeah, he kind of steered away from the popular bully group and into the little nerdy group, I guess.
Yeah.
If you want to compare. But yeah, it started off with, like, Oliver, because he lost his best friend. He kind of felt like he had no one to talk to, so he felt compelled to having to talk to Julie because, they both shared that love towards Sam. And yeah, again, as we just established before, like, Sam is trying to reach out, and of course, and unfortunately it's to Julie, but, like, and she's obviously not ready to, like, go down that road with him and, like, be kind of his anchor talking point in regards to Sam, because she was trying to, deal with her own shit. But at the same time, like, she isn't the only one that lost him. She should kind of not oblige, but lend her ear in a friend's time of need. But she does do that, so.
Yeah, but I think also, in her defense, Oliver probably had other friends that he could have leaned on more. But I get, because of, like, the romantic connection, etc., that he was like, hey, I should.
And it actually turned out that they have multiple things in common as well.
Yeah.
They were just sabotaging their own potential friendship with each other.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and then conversely, we have Julie and Mika.
Yes.
Just, again, back to the whole, we saw Mika visibly struggling, and I thought that she was going to do something real stupid as, like, a little plot twist. Yeah, but lucky that doesn't happen.
I think it's really hard. I don't know, I would have liked to have seen some of that rep, but I think it's really hard to...
That rep? What do you mean?
I'm trying to... Hang on, let me...
What do you mean, that rep? We don't want that.
I think... Okay, hang on, stop. I would have stopped laughing. I think I would have liked to have seen some awareness brought to the situation, but I think it's really hard in this economy to bring awareness and representation of mental health issues in a 13 Reasons Why based world.
Okay, that's fair. Representation. What a stupid word to describe it.
I'm sorry.
It's so funny.
I want to see her kill herself.
And I feel like that would have been way too much for such a PG-13 book as well. But, like, perhaps a little bit more...
13 Reasons Why was only PG-15. Or, like, MA-15.
Oh, well.
I read it when I was 17. No, 16.
I feel like a select few was really into that book.
Yeah, my friend bought it for me because he was like, don't kill yourself, read this. And I was like, bad book.
Yeah. God damn it. People are so insensitive. Jesus.
It was the gesture was nice, but...
Yeah. I mean, the purchasing of the book is a nice gesture, but the contents of the book is definitely not a nice gesture.
And the context, but yeah.
In the context, yeah. Yeah, when we saw Mika pretty much self-destruct, like... Actually, no, I was going to say, I feel like we could have seen a bit more self-destruction, perhaps, from Mika, but... What? mean, I know, okay, I said self-destruction, which is a bit different. But yeah, because she was really close with Sam, and yeah, she had a more like a familiar, you know, bond and everything with him, because everyone has like a favorite cousin that they probably love very much. Yeah. They don't listen to this podcast. And yeah, again, and we just keep circling back. Like, everyone is grieving in their own way. No one's really reaching out to each other, because there's a fine line between crossing boundaries and giving someone their space. And being teenagers, like, yeah, they want to deal with it themselves, or they have no idea how to approach someone. But I feel like, yeah, Julie took too long to reach out to Mika, even after making Sam that promise. And then I also just didn't like the way their friendship kind of re-blossomed from that. It was just like, oh, you, like, because obviously Mika had kind of every right to be mad at Julie for missing all these things, because she sees going to these things as important to show, to see how much, like, you love someone in death and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But,
did Mika talk to Sam on the phone?
Yes. They had a conversation.
See, because this is a thing as well. Mika is clearly going through it.
Yeah, better way to describe it, yeah.
And I think something like that is super detrimental to her in that situation, being like, hey, he's dead, but here you go, you get to talk to him at one time. I just think it could have been handled better in that Julie could have just said something along the lines of, blah blah, you know that Sam would be really worried about you right now. He loves you, he'll always love you, blah blah blah, he's always going to be there. Like, say it what he would say on the phone. Yeah. But just don't have to bring the actual phone call into it.
I was just gonna say that, like, Julie had, like, ample opportunities to reach out to Mika, but then at the end of the day, yeah, it depends on Mika accepting it. But
yeah, and again, I just keep circling. It's hard, because I do keep circling back to everyone grieves differently. It's only been a week, but then by the time she does reach out, like, it has been a few weeks.
Yeah.
But, and I do keep circling back to everyone grieves differently, but I also think, I don't have a leg to stand on, but grief doesn't give you an excuse to be a complete asshole.
No. Now that I think about it, it really kind of annoyed me that, like, yeah, in order for her to talk to Sam, like, she just, like, all her messages and texts that don't go through, because then, yeah, it does come across as, like, her ignoring the people who are trying to reach out, and it's like, but, like, yeah, it's a weird, it's not her fault, because she's, you know, on the phone for this connection, and it obviously blocks out anything else. But, like, people's perception of you are going to change, because they think, yeah, you're just a stoic bitch who's ignoring everybody, and it's all about me because she lost Sam as well. But I don't know. I think Julie had ample opportunity to reach out to Mika, and yeah, I got really worried for Mika, but yeah, I just didn't like how it just resolved with, like, you're going through some shit, I'm going through some shit, here's Sam, like, and then that's what brings them together again.
Because if someone had done that to me, I would have thrown myself off a cliff.
like you had legitimate reasons to kind of be mad at somebody, and they're like, but this.
Yeah.
And of course it weakens the connection, which is always fun, and there's always an ongoing theme throughout the book, or, like, this tension of, like, oh, will this be the last call? Will the connection end after this? Will there be such a dramatic moment that, like, she doesn't pick up the phone, which would cancel out their connection?
And then I think it was bullshit, because they could have had their nice, I love you, I'll always love you, this is what you've meant to me, thank you so much for our time, you've given me infinity in a numbered amount of days, thank you, John Green. But then he has to pull I'm going to call you one more time and I need you not to answer. And it's like, why is that an option?
Yeah.
Why do you dangle the little carrot?
Yeah, I thought it was just the whole, you just have to say goodbye to me, and then bam, and that's it. And then I thought they were just never going to say goodbye. Back. But no, it's just, don't call back. I thought when the group with, like, Yuki, Jay, I think Mika was there, and Oliver, they had their lanterns, I thought that was going to fuck up the whole connection, because I thought it was her saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And, like, I thought that there weren't going to be calls anymore, but you just have to say goodbye on the call. Like, imagine you're on the phone to, like, a dead loved one, and then, like, just out of habit, you're like, okay, goodbye, and, like, you just inadvertently cut your connection. That would be the worst. But yeah, I got, worried. I thought, that lantern scene was going to be that climactic moment where, like, it's like a big goodbye, because she's there with her friends, and, you know, everyone's all sharing in their grief together. And then I thought that was going to be a nice little ending, but no. Or at least it would be the conflict of her not being able to reach Sam anymore. Yeah. But apparently not. You know, I want to talk about the last call really quickly. Because I know I said to you before we started recording I thought the last call, it would have been nice if she had, like, gathered everybody, like, all her friends around and, like, they all had a call with Sam one last time.
Yeah.
Like, just as a group.
And then also, I'm just, sorry, going through the last few pages. And yeah, they do have the, like, they're saying goodbye, and blah, blah, blah. But then after he says, you know, like, after we hang up, I'm going to call you and I need you not to pick up this time, blah, blah, blah. Then he leaves her a fucking voicemail. Why?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's the revelation of the voicemail as well, that it was like, it was really him holding on to Julie.
I know, but still.
Yeah, I know. It's like, if you're going to be gone for good.
Yeah.
Almost. Don't leave any sort of lingering moments. She should have kept what she had.
Yeah.
I suppose in this world it'd be a very unique situation to be in, so of course she wants to preserve it as well.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You just think it should have just been like, goodbye, done.
Yeah.
Does it give off an extra idea of hope? Like, how can you really move on if they're still, dangling the carrot, I guess.
Still, stuck in your phone in the voicemail.
Then she's going to have, like, an emotional attachment to that phone. Like, what happens if that phone breaks or never works again? Like, what's going to happen? It's going to fuck with her mental. Or it'll be one of those things where, like, she'll always keep in a box and then it'll just, like, over time, she'll just forget about it, perhaps. Yeah. In a more natural, organic way.
Yeah.
But I feel like we needed that resolution of Sam and, like, how he felt towards Julie to keep her going.
It's cruel, but I really wanted there to be a line or something at the end that was, like, along the lines of, you know, at the end of the day, it wasn't really Sam on the end of the phone. It was me.
Like, it was Julie or, like, to herself?
Yeah, it was Julie, just, in her head. In her grief. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been really harsh.
But, like, realistic.
Mental illness, yes. Realistic. Yeah.
Because, like, at the end of the day, it wasn't really Sam on the end of the line, because I need to know that he's at peace.
Yeah.
And, like, something along those lines.
They talked about her being, like, a writer and, like, writing fiction and for television, so I thought this was going to be, like, a part of, like, a book or something. Yeah. And, like, she ends the final page, and it's like, it gives me All Too Well by Taylor Swift, in the video. Like, at the end, she's talking about a book. Like, this could have been Julie talking about her book of her ex-lover. Yeah, I thought there was going to be a ball was going to drop. Like, either, it wasn't really Sam, it was either her, or it was, like, a book, or it was something else.
Yeah. Maybe we should write a book.
Oh, really? That's such a good idea. What would it be about?
I don't know. Lovers.
Just a modern love story. If Coho can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Alright, deal. Done.
Bet.
Heard it here first.
Watch this space.
I love our impulsive behaviour. It's fantastic.
It's mental illness, isn't it?
This book, it also gave a bit of push and pull in regards to Julie and, like, moving on and holding on to memories of Sam. Because, like, at the end of the day, she continued to go back to school. She started working at her bookstore again. And, like, she's still applying for colleges. She's catching up on schoolwork. Like, I feel like that is kind of moving forward with her life. But then everyone, kicks her up the ass for it as well.
Yeah.
In the name of, you're forgetting Sam, or you're not, like, acknowledging him as much. But they also give her shit because she is trying to also hold on to him. Julie can't win. It's such a complicated book in that sense.
I think, it's just a representation of everyone's grief, I guess. And it hurts.
I also thought at some point, like, her and Sam were going to have an argument over the phone, and then that would be the last time they actually contacted each other.
Ooh. I want to read the epilogue. Because I have thoughts. But I still think about him. I think about him throughout my first week in college when I'm walking under the cherry blossoms. I think about him whenever I'm in town grabbing coffee at Sun and Moon. I think about when I'm on the phone with Mika and we talk for hours. I think about him after an awkward blind date Oliver sets me up with. I think about him after a better first date with someone from my English class. I think about him after I finish writing our story and submitting it to a writing contest. I think of him when I win an honourable mention and gets published online. I think about him when I visit his house for Sunday dinners with James and his family. I think about him on my last day in Ellensburg as I get ready to move to the city where we always plan to live together. And I think about him whenever I close my eyes and see us together again lying out there in the fields. Alright, first of all, cool. Second of all, like, I wanted her to be more at peace. Like, I wanted to be like, I don't know, she's in the city. She's a teenager, so there can't be, like, a big, huge time jump. But it's like, I wanted to be, like, and like I'm with my friends and like I get a glimpse of us like laughing with them out in the fields or some shit, like it just, everything is still all about Sam, which is fine, but yeah, the premise was you are at peace and you have said goodbye, like you are still holding on.
But then, but then you still have all these moments where you recognize him and the memories, and then it's like, what's the point of those phone conversations at all? But then I suppose over time it'll become something she might naturally like forget. Well, I don't know if forget isn't, because like it isn't like the best word to describe it, but like there's no other way to put it.
Well, it's like
then growing out.
Like I don't always. Yeah, I don't always. Like I don't think about my dad every single day or whatever. But sometimes like I'll be doing something and I'll be like, oh, like I get a glimpse of like him or whatever.
Yeah, but he's not consuming.
Yeah, but he's not consuming my life still.
But I suppose being teenage trauma for Julie, and as well as yourself personally, like. But perhaps the book is also just explaining that like it's okay if you still think of it like that.
Yeah.
Like even though the whole point of the book was the last goodbye, doesn't mean you're gonna stop. Recognizing aspects of them.
Yeah.
It's probably nice in that sense. It is a nice book. It does bring a bit of peace, and it acknowledges, different types of grief, and like, any way you go about it is okay.
Yeah.
Except for Mika, because I got really worried about it. Then also, really quickly, she kind of lashed out at Julie, being like, well, you and your group of friends, like, you seem to be moving on, but I thought that was the whole point. Everyone wanted her to kind of move on, or at least live her life.
What a double standard.
Yeah. One of the main like plot points of the book is Julie being asked to go to a film festival with her colleague Tristan.
Love interest, did you think?
Another love interest, yes. Yes. I was hoping in the epilogue I see the name Tristan pop up.
Yeah.
To be honest. I was like, it gave me that vibe.
That's what I wanted, you know?
But he was so sweet to her. But obviously it comes off as a little insensitive, like she is on the market being single again, suddenly being like approached by men. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of back and forth of her wanting to go and not wanting to go, because if she goes and she's living her life and she's going to forget Sam, or she doesn't go, then she's just wallowing in her self-pity and she can't stop thinking about Sam. But he himself managed to kind of push her and be like, look, you have to go. And she's like, I know. But I thought he was going to be like a little love interest. But again, it would have been a bit too soon. Again, it was...
I know.
Well, at that point, it would have been like a couple months, but even still.
Again, too soon, but I don't know. I would have liked maybe a little bit of a kiss situation, and then she calls Sam, and then Sam's like, no, I want you to move on. I want you to be happy without me, like.
But I suppose it's hard to let go of all the plans that you kind of make with somebody as well. Mm-hmm. But Tristan, he's a good fella. Got her some flowers, although I thought there was going to be like a little heartbreak moment for Tristan, because I think she gave that guy, I think Marcus or somebody else, like a CD for that band, and she dropped the rose petal for Tristan's rose. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? Is this going to be extra drama? But no, nothing really came of it. But I suppose at the end of the day, even in the epilogue, I'm kind of glad that there was no love interest kind of mentioned, because I don't know, it'd probably be weird having a whole book about someone you love and then at the end it's just like you or someone else, perhaps. But of course everyone's different, they have every right to do whatever they want. But yeah, for this book specifically, like, it's probably best. Did you see Oliver and Jay's relationship coming?
No.
Do you think it was like a little, I just have to include this, or is this going to be cause relevancy?
Yeah.
Yep, that's fair. That's all there is to it.
Yeah,
cool,
that's alright.
That's okay.
I was too consumed by my grief.
Yeah, fair enough. I just also loved the moments of like their relationship, just all the memories. Them skinny dipping and him performing at his cousin's wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
he seems
really hard now as an adult. And then I think it's a very Americanized thing of like these really grand relationships in your teen years. And it's really hard for me now, as an adult to look back. Like, sure, like I had 2 pretty good relationships in my teens. But yeah, we never did the whole like big, like grand.
Like, oh, I'm going to move to the same university. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, no, it was always like we have our lives and that's fine. If they happen to be intertwined later in life, that's also fine. Like, I didn't plan out my life going to the same uni as, shout out Matt Gordon, and everything. I don't think, it ever got to that point. It was just like, if we're together, and we'll sort it out.
Yeah, now that you said that, I agree.
Yeah. And like, I went to weddings, but I wasn't like, can I bring my high school boyfriend? Like, I don't know.
Like, it didn't seem that big.
Yeah.
Back then. But obviously, like, I see people or see them online, people at school who are still with people from high school.
Yeah,
and that,
same.
which is fine. But yeah, in this sort of book context, it seems like your high school sweetheart is the be all end all of life, or at least until they go to college and they find someone better. But yeah, very Americanized concept of the high school sweetheart.
I think as well also because you can drive at 16 in America, so I think there is more chance, like accessibility of activities.
Yeah, for sure. And like that sense of maturity as well.
Yeah.
I guess. But that's also funny, like, you can drive at 16 but you can't drink at 21.
Yeah.
Till 21.
No, till 21, yeah. You can also sell your body to the government at 18 and enlist in the army, but the government won't do anything to protect female bodies. Shots fired!
Yeah, I saw that on, I think it was either TikTok or Twitter or somewhere. Someone's like, tell people from the military that you sell, if people shit on like sex workers and OnlyFans, just be like, well, people like, or you sell your body to the government, blah, blah, blah. And it's, because you're in the military.
You're in the military.
Yeah, that's so funny. It's like, not that I've ever been in any conversations with that type of discourse, but like, I'm ready to pull it.
I'm ready to pull it. I know exactly who I'm going to pull it on.
T. Record it. Evil cackle.
Anyway, moving on. Back to the book. I digress.
I don't know what else to really talk about though.
Well, I'm at like an hour, so like I'm good.
Oh really? Jesus.
Yeah, we've been talking for an hour, bruh.
It felt like really an hour of nothing. I feel like I'm done.
The first 20 minutes was a lot.
Of course, we may have skipped a lot of stuff, but like...
I feel like in these times, and we say this every time we go like way off the plot, but this book is so... I think it's more about you need to have the discussions about the themes instead of just like, I went to high school and I was sad because my boyfriend died. Like...
Uwu.
Uwu senpai.
And it's just... grief, they're just tough themes to kind of wrap your head around as well and talk about succinctly. And because like there wasn't really a lot of important moments, because like they inevitably lose connection, that's fine,
which happens in life. Connection is temporary.
Back and forth double standard of Julie trying to move on but also maintain her memories of Sam, but it's like, but if you're holding on to Sam too much, you're not really moving on. Perhaps one of the biggest plot points, I think, of the book was at the end, when James ran away. Let's talk about that real quick, because I was reading that in real time while you were watching. And I said out loud, what's the bet? James is gonna talk to Sam, and that's just gonna fuck around with their connection.
I think, so James is Sam's younger brother. I think the thing that really annoyed me most about that is how James is like, well, you know, Sam died, and it felt like you died as well, because you stopped coming around, and we stopped seeing you.
I think Mika also pulled that.
Yeah. And it's like, it is no longer her obligation to spend time with her family. Sure, maybe she's a bit shit for not reaching out once, but again, she is grieving her own way. And yeah, it's not her responsibility to make you feel better. Like, that's on your parents, bro.
Like, I'm like, now that you say that, it's like, James, you have parents that you can talk to, dude. Or at least they should
like,
try
even
and
you
talk
have,
to him.
I guess, like, they were, I don't know if it's mentioned that they were trying to reach out to her for things. But, like, he could have been like, hey, like, I really miss Julie. Do you reckon we could see her? Like, or, like, just give the girl some space.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility is put on Julie. And, like,
17-year-old.
And she's just the girlfriend. Yeah, I think Mika also pulled that little bit of a bullshit stunt on her. I forget what it was. Yeah, I think because they were like the Three Amigos type of thing, and it's like, well, when Sam died, it's like you died with him too.
Yeah,
like, she copped it from everybody, all because she didn't attend some vigils.
Yeah,
or the funeral, which is completely and utterly her choice. But like, I feel like she could have made one appearance.
Yeah,
at one, and then that would have appeased everything. How do you feel about her throwing his stuff away real quick, and then she quickly regrets it, but in that moment?
I think, that's grief talking. That's grief taking over 100%. Like, no reminder, throw him away, get rid of him, and then, of course, you do regret it straight away.
I know, personally, like, with my mum's, like, wardrobe and stuff, we kind of got to it kind of quickly, but that's just because if we didn't, in that moment, like, I had the energy, I had the mental capacity to do it. If I didn't do it that day, I probably would not have been able to do it at all.
Yeah, I think my mum still has a couple of things of my dad's, and, like, I do as well, but, the majority of it was donated.
So, again, at the end of the day, that's her decision if she wants to, like, try and start fresh in her life. And I thought, like, the whole James thing kind of came out of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, It was just a way for them to weaken
The bond. Yeah,
connection
let's
with
throw
each
in
other.
one more hurdle.
And again, like, why is it, like, Julie's responsibility?
And
to
again,
find
because,
him?
yeah, at the end of the day, the connection was going to be broken anyway, so...
And, like, yeah, she risked it for James. And, like, James had no other significant part in this book other than, like, the memories. Because I think he was also kind of jealous of Julie in a way because she took Sam. Everyone's just obsessed and possessive of Sam, it seems.
Yeah.
But again, like, teenagers, are jealous of each other's friends and their affections for different people, I guess.
I was jealous of my ex-boyfriend's friendship with a girl, but then he broke up with me to date her, so... But then it's okay, because then he came back to me. Woo-woo.
You won at the end of the day.
I really didn't.
Like, she won the battle, you won the war. But yeah, so yeah, I just thought that was a bit of a weird thing. Like, and like, how did Sam know? He's like, oh, I feel something completely wrong right now in this moment as we are about to lose connection.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like the one last hurrah together. Yeah, I don't know. Came out of nowhere. Not that I really cared for James either way. Again, his parents should have been responsible with like nurturing his grief and all that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much responsibility on Julie, unfortunately. But no, still a lovely book at the end of the day. We seem to, like, complain a lot about
Well, like,
books.
we do love the books. We do love the books.
Yeah, it's good. It's things that irritate us and, yeah, just points. Yeah. No, I love the front cover as well. Just,
it's beautiful.
It's so sad. It is beautiful. It's probably one of my favourite covers out of any book. Do you want to call it, Kenzie? I don't know if there's anything else. Nothing really significant other than, yeah, it's just a whole push and pull of moving on, holding on to memories, and just double standards, and everyone's just an asshole towards each other.
Yeah, that's okay.
About the grief.
That's okay. I think we'll call it here, everybody. I think we've exhausted everything we've needed to say. At the end of the day, I really do love this book. I do recommend it. It may bring up a lot of feelings for you if you have dealt with grief in your life. Always have someone safe that you can talk to about these things if it brings up any feelings for you, like it did for me. Yeah, find us on all the socials, letterbox_book_club on Instagram, letterboxbookclub on Spotify, SoundCloud, TikTok, Twitter is
letterboxBC.
Tune in next week for Assassin's Blade, which is the final installment of the Throne of Glass series.
Yeah, speaking of grief.
Yeah. And once again, we will be discussing a book with significant character death, so that's fun.
It's on theme for us at this point. Letterbox Death Book Club,
yeah.
it seems.
So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this one. Next week, I won't have COVID. Yeah, thanks for listening. Bye!
Bye.